Alright.
You just follow me and stay close.
Now we're just gonna find out where he went. It's probably invisible. Where on earth did Brother Toras go? I think Bones found him. There he is. Alright, so the idea is... she's gotta be totally... you know what, she's gonna run past him. Hopefully he hasn't noticed her. Okay.
Alright, crew. Let's take them down.
It's actually already injured, though. Don't want it to dispel magic right away. Missile Storm.
Alright, crew. Let's take
What is
them
Linu
down.
doing? Flame arrow. Near death. Wow. Doing a lot better than I thought. Magic missile. I don't know what Linu's doing. I think she must be blocked. Can't really see down there. Brother Toras has been destroyed. The crown atop his skull toppled, and a tome within his robes revealed. A heavy and tattered tome, labeled with a large and ancient rune that translates simply to life. It's the ancient Imaskarran Tome of Life. Lilly's surprised to discover she can indeed decipher some of the passages, including one on the forging of magical rings. Endure elements, fenberries, quartz crystal. Perhaps Eltoora knew more about the tomes than she cared to relate. Interesting, and something the Lady of Murder will certainly take advantage of, but not quite what she was expecting. She thought it might have been a work about, well, life and death, or rather undeath, such as the process used to mummify the remains of a human or humanoid and animate the corpse, or mummify the living even and turn them into mummies, even if an extremely evil act, or simply secrets on how to destroy undead, not create magical rings. No matter. Yeah, I just wanted to point out that Brother Toras is indeed a 20th level lich. I think he wields a Staff of Power and has over 50 spells memorized at his disposal. His challenge rating alone, without his undead entourage, is 29, which explains the impossible rating, but actually doesn't quite make sense, as it technically means he should pose a suitable challenge for a party of 4 epic level characters. A level unattainable in the official campaign, let alone in Chapter 2. Anyway, I think we're lucky that we were able to get through the encounter at all with the 9th level spellcaster, even after all the division and attrition-based, or some may say cheesy tactics. Lilly Knox is only a wizard can, but it'll be up to her dutiful familiar to spring any devious mechanisms guarding the chest. Unfortunately, despite the caretaker mentioning that there was a whole collection of magical books in the tomb, there doesn't appear to be any others besides. A heavy crossbow created for the sole purpose of defending the wild forests of Faerun and their Fey inhabitants, hence its name, a Feywarden Crossbow. Legend has it that at the dawn of creation, a druid was assigned to each of the forests of the world, and that these were the weapons they possessed. Though that's likely just legend. The reality? Feywarden is a name often adopted by clerics of Correlon Larethian, the leader of the Elven Pantheon, the Seldarine. These Correlite war priests are charged with the solemn duty of protecting the traditions and works of the Elven race. And the Elves have always been at odds with Orcs, a race for which the crossbow is especially suited. Not only is it said that the Elven race was born from Correllon's blood, but that the blood was spilt during a terrible battle Correlon fought with Gruumsh One-Eye, god of the Orcs. In fact, it was during this battle that Gruumsh gained his nickname One-Eye, losing the other, though this fact is stubbornly denied by Orcs. Otherwise, the Inquisitor General and her holy defender are finished with the tomb of the Arcane Brotherhood, having found the Imaskarran Tome of Life. It's time to return to the Green Griffon Inn. The Hazel Healer is lucky the tomb was one of the Arcane Brotherhood, and not an Imaskarran one. The Imaskari's great distrust of priests and gods has been mentioned already. In fact, Imaskari artificers were known to have abducted untold numbers of priests, druids, shamans, and other divine spellcasters from across Faerun, placing them in extra-dimensional prisons. There, prohibited by arcane wards and barriers from communicating with their gods, they were cruelly experimented on by Imaskari artificers intent on discovering the nature of divine magic. From these Imaskari torture chambers came a wealth of research, including the epic-level spell the Empire used to seal off Toril from the Mulhorandi gods, to prevent contact between their slaves and their deities. Thousands of people abducted from another world as slaves retained their faith despite their deities being barred by a planar barrier.
Sorry, but since the competition's been won, the dungeon's going to need some retooling. Maybe next spring or so she'll reopen.
Alright, Lilly trading with Mutamin. Despite somebody awfully anxious, I guess, to speak with her. It wasn't until 2 millennia later that the deities were finally able to send physical manifestations and incarnations of themselves to Toril via the Astral Plane to aid their people. This was the beginning of the end for the Imaskarran Empire, as the slaves finally found the resolve to revolt. But the very next year, the Mulhorandi deity Horus slew Lord Artificer Yuvaraj, Emperor of Imaskar, marking the end of the Empire. Ironically enough, because of all the victims of Imaskari torture and the ancient godly relics taken from them, Imaskarran ruins are today a popular target for those in search of powerful divine artifacts, despite the Empire's reputation. A bald, bushy-eyebrowed, heavy-breathing dwarf is making it nearly impossible for Lilly to ignore him. Alright, here's Thurwin. He was trying to catch Lilly's attention, I guess, while she was trading. You must be Lilly. You're exactly as the assassin described you. I'm an adventurer like you, looking for the cult. They've got an assassin trying to kill us off. Of my entire party, I'm the sole survivor. It's Might be like the third person I think that's approached her about this. You know, asking where this happened. Just outside of Charwood, but don't bother heading back there. You don't find him, he finds you. Ask if he was alone. Yeah. Maybe that's a weakness to exploit. He didn't seem to need any help against my party. Should doubts he got a name. Oh, he did. Vardoc. I thought that was strange, because in the journal, I think it mentioned Vardoc, but we hadn't heard that name yet. I didn't get his clan name, but he seems orc-raised. No human mother could raise a son to be that vicious. The Inquisitor General is no common adventurer, especially like him. And if a word of his story can be believed, then he is indeed a sole survivor. It's likely only because he's an abject coward who ran away, leaving his company to die. At least the name of this orc or half-orc carnivorous cultist is at last known. Vardoc. At the top of the stair, Lilly can hear poor little Red making a commotion with her shoe, and the unsettling crunch of a tiny pest. Needless to say, she looks relieved at their return, complaining she hasn't had a moment's rest without the cleric and Curl's righteous repellent. Lilly tells the rusty raconteur all about the mad gnome at the cemetery, and how he eats mice and who knows what else. Probably vanilla elf cookies made of, well, elf. While the Blacklake bard takes a badly needed nap, the Lady of Murder organizes her spellbook in order to prepare different spells for the days ahead. Peace and quiet, and Little Red's soft breathing. Not even a snorting Linu as, well, she's wide awake, tidying her gear and even polishing the bands of her armor, her shield, and even that mace of hers, with a soft buffing brush. Little Red stirs, and Lilly goes on to warn her about Vardoc, the depraved elf-eating half-orc, half-werewolf after them, who probably is just as well as happy to eat pretty bards from Blacklake with red hair. Her cheek resting on the back of her clasped hands. One of her darling ears revealed. Her eyes closed, yet mouth parted in an angelic slumber, exposing her petite neck. Exquisite, inviting, irresistible. As Lilly lowers her head, her lips poised to taste of that strange, pale, alien landscape. The barely perceptible hairs upon her skin come into focus and rise as if to greet her gently falling bangs. Just as they were about to touch, the hairs turn black and coarse until Lilly's horror multiplies as Little Red becomes a not-so-little were-creature. Vardoc! Lilly turns to flee. She runs for the stairs to escape the inn. Coming the other way up the stairs is Linu, but it's too late. Lilly collides into the dusty diviner, and with a spectacular crash, they tumble down the stairs. For what seems like an eternity. When she finally comes to, she finds herself chained to a large metal slab with Linu, who's also chained, but she's just whistling, buffing the metal. And that smell, they're covered in vanilla. It's the Mad Mouser, and he's making elf cookies. Lilly screams in horror, but Linu doesn't seem to hear her. She just keeps buffing the metal Lilly awakes in a cold sweat to find Linu still mindlessly buffing.
Hey there, dear. What can I do for you?
I think Lilly telling the ladies to wait for her here at the Green Griffon. She informs the ladies she's off to collect the half-orc, to hunt orcs and ogres alike, giving Linu a look before using the stone, to remind her to have that little talk with Little Red.